Good afternoon and welcome to the, nearly messed that up, I nearly said Be Connected Business Show. Welcome to the Network Educate and Invite Business Support Program. My name's Jason Walmsley and I'm here with a number of business owners today. And we're here to actually listen to Mr. Paul Lange. Paul, hi mate, say hi.
G'day mate, how you going?
Paul, what are you going to be presenting to us today?
It's a process I've taken premium clients and acquisition clients through for many years called Pitch Deck Perfect Business Optimization. So it's business optimization based on the pitch deck, which comes from the private equity venture capital industry that I've been a part of for 30 years.
Which has gone straight over my head, but I have read a bit up about it and went, oh, it actually makes perfect sense, which is great. It's all about the numbers, isn't it?
It's about a lot more than just, about numbers, but from the financial, investment side, but it's a lot more, it's about a lot more of how you go about doing business rather than what it is you do and why you do it, that sort of thing. But, private equity investors and venture capitalists, they tend to look at a business and in a different way to most business owners. But my perspective is that business owners should be looking at the business the same way as an investor would look at it when they're looking to invest. And if they do that, they'll be doing a lot more and different things than they're doing right now.
So it's an ideal thing to know if you're ever looking at selling your business.
It's an ideal thing if you're looking to sell your business, but if you just want to have a profitable business, it's really a good checklist and compass for how to keep your business on track. Investors, they don't invest in jobs. They invest in businesses which are assets, and they can be assets for any number of reasons. They could be an asset because they're just self-containing units which generate income for them, or they could be things which they can get involved with and add value to and plug in additional resources. But the majority of businesses, whether small, medium, or large, really don't fit that criteria. And if anyone's watched any of the stuff on Dragon's Den or Shark Tank or whatever, that you will have heard one of the investors saying to one of the dragons or whatever, saying, I'd love to get involved in your business, but you're just not ready yet. And that's it's quite often the case that they just aren't doing those things that make a business profitable and ready to get to that cliched next level.
I definitely need to be listening because I need to make a profit on this because I'm not. So, all right. So what we're going to do, look, I've got a bit of news to come through, and then what we'll do is we'll do the around the grounds, and then we throw it open to Paul. So, like I said, look, welcome back. First bit of news is, so most of you know that we're doing the Be Connected radio show. So on centralcoastradio.com, which is a digital radio station that is actually played all around the world. I have a spot on a Saturday morning, 8 till 9, where I interview business owners, find out about their knowledge, and play some of my favourite music as well, which is really, really good. We've already got a number of interviews recorded. Well, I'm looking around the room. There's already 3 people I got booked in as well. Julie's jumping on with the seniors channel as well. Hey, Cal, you're back. That is actually now available on Spotify. So we finally got that through this morning. So if you've got a Spotify account and you want to listen to anybody on the radio that does these things, you just look for Be Connected Business Show. Up it comes, you can click it, and every week it'll be uploaded. So that's a big thing for me. Talking of Be Connected, we have the Be Connected networking restarting up again on next Wednesday. We're running a number of different sessions. So we're still doing the 7:45 to 9 on a Wednesday morning. We're also going to be running an early evening session, which will be 5:45 till 7 on a Thursday. We're also looking at doing a lunchtime Tuesday. So they're all out there. So you guys that have already been members of that Be Connected group, or you are a BBX member, that's free for you guys. Other people can join. It's for the whole year. You get access to about 200 networking events. It's $297, or you can just pay $50 a month. So that's what's all coming up. We also have in there as well what we call the Ask the Expert section, which will be on a Friday afternoon, where 4 or 5 members can come in and sit down with a panel. And the idea of the panel is you come to us with a bit of an idea, because 5 heads are better than 1. If you're having a problem within your business, you ask 1 person, you're only going to get 1 answer. If you ask 4 or 5 people, you'll get 5 answers, and then you can actually decide from there what best fits in within your model. It's like instant business coaching. 5 heads better than 1 all the time. So you get access to all of that with the Be Connected. So that's really, really taking off. So, and as we slowly start to roll out, we will be doing face-to-face meetings as well. But that's on the back burner at the moment with everything that's going on. So that's all I have to say at the moment. What we'll do, we'll actually start doing the round the grounds. Remember, this is not, what have you done there, Andy? Have you just found my little podcast, have you?
I did. There is 2 of them though. I'm thinking that's the right, we're just checking that's the right one.
I don't know. I don't know the number. All right. So we'll do the round the grounds. Remember, this is not a networking session. This is an education session. So we're not going to start asking for referrals today or anything like that. But we do want to know who's in the room because we may want to connect. So what we'll do, we'll actually start, might as well start with the guest of honor today. So Paul, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, I'm Paul Lange. So for the last 30 years, I've been involved in the private equity venture capital business. As I say to everybody, I had 2 jobs in my life and I've been unemployed since then. So my first 2 jobs were in hospitality and my first business was in hospitality. After that, I got involved in private equity, which is only a logical leap when you understand that my mentor in my original business was the founder of a German investment bank. And he said to me one day, you should come and work with me. So in that period, I've been consulting, I've been coaching, I've been mentoring, I've grown a number of businesses myself, very successful exit. I've also grown a number of businesses, which I then subsequently crashed and burned. So basically, they should never have got off the back of a napkin, but they did. My areas of expertise, specific expertise, are really in financial services, technology, and food and beverage production. But as I say to most people, listen, if you're in business, you need to understand the majority of business is about 83 to 87% the same as that last little bit, which is your secret 11 herbs and spices. So irrespective of what industry you're in, I've been able to help businesses across multiple industries, irrespective of the experience, simply because of the things I've learned out of the private equity industry.
Beautiful. Thank you, Paul. Now we'll go to the right on my screen. Hey, John, how are you, mate?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Jay. Hope everyone had a good break. But my name is John Ferrer. I'm the BDM for B Connect. So I've been working with Jason for the past, I think, half a year now, since July. I connect business owners and basically provide what they need.
That's an easy way of saying it. Thank you very much, John. Mr. Holiday.
Mr. Walmsley.
How are you, bro? Hey, look at
Mate, I am fighting fit.
Can you see my drink bottle?
Oh, mate, transforming you. Transforming from the inside out, mate. So Kelvin Holiday from the Transformational Hub. I am a productivity and time expert. So people looking to regain their time and freedom in life, that's what I help them do. So I'm up here in the Great Northern Territory living the dream, and I want to help other business owners do the same thing.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kel. And Rashid.
I work with ambitious business owners to help them achieve financial freedom using their business as a vehicle, because most business owners get into business thinking they're going to sell the business at some stage, but the reality is that very, very rarely happens. So it's better to make money along the way. And the way you do that is to sell more, which is the area that I specialize in, take the money out, invest it in something else, and make money.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rashid. And I look forward to doing your interview on Friday, especially being a salesman. It's the sort of thing that really interests me. So the only thing is I've got to try and keep it under an hour on with salespeople, so it wouldn't happen. All right. Hi, Jel.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Jel Marco Maghanay, virtual assistant of Jay.
Beautiful. I love having my assistant. So it makes me feel important when I've got my staff on. So it makes the screen look a little bit bigger as well. Good morning, Alan. Sorry, good morning, Alan.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. Alan Stevens. I'm a profiling and communication specialist. After working in just about every industry you can think of, I realised that the problems that most of them had were in relationships, and now that's why I'm working in that area. So when I work with people, your facial features tell me your personality, and then when I'm talking to you, you got your body language and expressions that tell me your emotions, and put it all together, you got someone's character pretty quickly. So I mainly work with working with people now in the area with the number of people leaving businesses in the what they call it, psychological health area. So psychological safety is the word I was looking for.
Thank you, Alan. Hi, Julie.
Hello, my name is Julie. I'm the CEO and founder of the Seniors Channel. We are a startup, and I'm particularly interested in this webinar today because we are going to be opening up a seed round this year. So I'm very much interested in what you have to offer, Paul.
Julie, meet Paul. Paul, meet Julie. There you go. Fantastic. Thank you, Julie. Hi, Jeddah. How are you?
Hi guys, good afternoon. My name is Jada. So I am Jay's executive assistant. So if you need anything, if you can contact Jay, you can contact me.
No worries. Thank you very much. And Stephen Sandor.
Good afternoon, everybody. Steve Sandor. I've got a business called Inspiring Business. It's relatively new. It's only about 18 months old, but it came about after spending nearly 40 years in running my own businesses and general management in large organizations. And I help smaller type business owners to, I call it, get your business ready for sale, but don't sell it so you can retire into your business. So move away from being a freelancer into running a business as an enterprise. So that's what I do. So I'm really interested in listening to Paul, because finance is the very first thing that we talk about when I go in and chat with organizations. I also run a podcast. So if anybody has got a guest that is has successfully made that transition, I'm really interested in talking to them.
Thank you, Stephen. You did an interview with Carolyn McDonald, who's my CEO, and I think that went pretty well. She was very happy with that.
Yeah, Alan's been on as well. So
fantastic. So who we got next? Derek. Derek in Queensland.
Yeah. Finally, after 4 months of living out of suitcase in Victoria, from country Victoria to Melbourne, finally allowed up here over Christmas. So grateful to be here in this beautiful part of the world that'll allow me and my wife to thrive. So the Thrive movement is about empowering people and organisations of what does it take to thrive. We help people to be healthier, happier, communicate better, be more engaged, and guess what? They perform better. So it's not rocket science to me, but apparently it is to a lot of companies. So happy to have that conversation and work with people to, and of course people are suffering a lot at the moment and have the last couple of years with COVID. So here to make a difference. So thanks for having us here today, and looking forward to connect with anybody who would like to have a chat.
No worries. Thank you very much, Derek. And last but not least, the man in the van, Andy.
I thought you were going to use that. So Andy Prosser, I run a company called The Executive Technologists. And what we do is we help businesses unravel their digital chaos to create a better future. What does that mean? Basically, in the last couple of years, everyone's just been throwing systems left, right, and center at their business just to keep it running. And they've thrown so much in there. I don't know what they got. It's like a teenager's bedroom. There's just stuff everywhere. We'll tidy it up later. You kind of work out a way to get around without stepping on things, but it's stopping you and blocking you from being able to make changes and grow your business. So what we do is we come in and help you solve that. Got a 5-stage process that takes you through from building out your foundations to getting a business that's agile and adaptable to whatever curveball gets thrown at us in the future. And the best part is it's through not just technology, but through empowering the most important asset in your business, your people.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, mate. Really appreciate that. Now, what I'm going to do in regards to connecting, so a lot of people have already said on here, look, we want to connect. I'm going to get everybody right now. Oh, I haven't introduced myself, but everybody knows I doesn't really matter. I told you I'd be all over the place today. What I'm going to get everybody to do is please put your name, your business, your email address, and your phone number if you want in the chat box. And then what everybody can do at the end before we finish, if you click on the 3 dots on the chat box, you can actually download that, so you will actually have everybody's details. So if I get everybody to do that right now. Beautiful. That's all done. Fantastic. Okay. So yeah, so if you go to the chat box, if you click the 3 dots on the right-hand side, you can actually save chat and it will save it as a text box on your computer, and then you can contact people through there. Obviously, you can also contact them through the network as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hand over to our guest speaker. So Paul Lange, pitch deck, what is it again?
Pitch deck perfect business optimization. Jeez, thanks, mate.
Right, all yours. Take it away.
Thanks, mate. I've got a couple of slides I'm going to chuck up simply for visual effect and whatever, but also, and then what I'll do is go through just a couple of concepts. I'm going to tell you a story about one company that I work with that used the things we talk about in creating a pitch deck and optimizing based on a pitch deck, and then I want to open up to a discussion about the ways that people who are on the call today are optimizing their business, running their business, and things they think they could do better. And from looking at everyone around, listening to everyone who's around the table today, the virtual table, the majority of us are in that situation where we advise, consult to, coach, mentor other businesses. And so one of the takeaways here is not just to look at this as your business, because I think it was Steve who was saying that create a business that you're going to retire into, and that's absolutely right. And as coaches, consultants, mentors, coach, and the like, this is something we really must be looking at. But the businesses we consult to, they may not want to do that. They may want to do whatever they do. These are some principles you can take away and work with them on. And I'm not saying you don't know a lot of this stuff, as this happens to me quite often when I listen to other professionals in their area. I think, yeah, I knew that, or I know that, but it's just given me a different perspective. And it's given me something to take away and work on again. So hopefully, especially with the high caliber of people around the table today, there'll be a lot of that happening as well. So let me just quickly share and get into this. And as I do, let me just ask you a question. There's the big phallic cigar again. I'll just get out of there in a second. But let me just ask you a question. Who has, and maybe put in the chat, who has ever pitched for finance, for investment from private equity or institutional equity or venture capital before? Has anyone here done that before?
Not me.
No one? I'll actually go back without the anyone? No? Okay. Doesn't matter. It's a skill that not everyone has, or an activity most people ever have to do. One thing everyone will have an opinion on, and I'll love to get this off everyone before we start. What is your understanding? And again, either chuck it in the chat or just have a quick feedback, maybe 5 seconds around the room. What is your understanding of optimization? What does optimization mean to you? Because it means different things to different people. Anyone want to have a go?
Well,
there's no right or wrong answer, by the way.
To me, it means just everything's tied up neatly in a bow and is the best that it can be. It's optimized.
Yep.
It also includes having the right people with you as well, so you're not trying to do everything yourself. You're optimizing your own time as well to be more efficient with what you do.
Yeah, cool. Anyone?
For me, it's getting it right from the beginning to be able to scale. So optimizing the opportunities.
Yep. Cool.
For me, it's leveraging the resources you've got to get the maximum output, whatever constraints you actually have, using them to the best ability.
Great. I'm looking forward to recording this. I'm going to go and pinch all those and quote the people.
Yeah, it's kind of like I've built a system to help that from a technology standpoint, but part of doing that was realization that there was 3 key components of all businesses: your people, your processes, your systems. You got to get that balance right. And one of the points I've got there is a process that's not followed might as well shoved in the bottom drawer because it's useless to you. So following the processes, people understand the processes, and the systems actually do what they're supposed to do. Get those 3 right, then you can find some optimization.
Yep, cool.
Would synergy be a similar word, Paul, if you have your processes, your people and your systems all synergistically working together, flowing together? Would that be a form of being optimized?
Absolutely. Everything so far, everything everyone said is certainly optimization, and synergy goes hand in glove with that as well. Totally. Okay, cool. Anyone else? No. Okay, great. So let me just go back to sharing a screen with big thing here, and we'll go straight into it. Because there are three things I'd like to be able to impart today, and whether or not you take them on board, we'll see how that goes. And in the intro, I said, listen, investors, especially private equity investors, less so than institutional investors, but private equity investors and venture capitalists are looking for assets, business assets in various forms. And when you pitch to them, then you obviously want to present to them a business which they can either just take and put into their portfolio and it runs and generates income for them, an asset being something which is income generating, or it is something that they can go and work with you with to help you grow, to introduce resources to it, to make introductions, commercial introductions to you. And the key difference there between private equity and venture capital versus institutional investors is institutional investors and big screen stuff is they throw money at you and they just want you to perform, whereas private equity and venture capitalists, they usually throw money at you and they throw other resources and they take an invested interest in you. But here's the message: when you're using a pitch deck to optimize your own business, a key message that most people I find miss is that you are the venture capitalist. You are the private equity investor. You are the one with the skin in the game. You're the one putting your money, your time and everything on the line. And the greater majority of business owners, and I realize I'm making a generalization, but it's a safe one to make, the greater majority of business owners do not look for a return on investment. They don't look for an ROI. And why that not? I promise not to use expletives, so I won't. Why are they not looking for a return on their investment? And the investment simply being at least their time and the money they put into it, and even the money they don't take out of it. Yeah, a lot of people don't take money out of their business. And I can't remember who it was said that, I think it was Rashi, that's absolutely right. You use even if you're using your business, you take money out and you put that money into other things, let that money work for you. So one thing I'd like for people to take away, whether you're around the virtual table today or you're watching this on the recording, is in your business, you are the VC, and that matters zero whether you're a consultant coach or you're actually running a business with products and services and 50 staff or 100 staff or 200 staff or 2,000 staff, whatever the number. So that's first thing. The second thing, and we went around the table and everybody's response to what is optimization, like I said, there's no right or wrong answer, and all the answers I find were really, really cool. This is the one of the things I've learned over 30 years of working with business in the PE VC space, that optimization is the point where readiness meets execution, and the readiness and execution meet for one of two reasons: either because you have issues or because you have opportunities. You see, the majority of people I've spoken to, especially when I did surveys on this years ago, the majority of people thought that optimization was all about being able to go 100%, full pelt, full throttle all the time. And I'm grateful no one around the table said that today, because nothing, from my perspective, nothing could be further from the truth. In business and in life, because optimization doesn't just relate to business, it relates to life. I'll show you a picture later on of me at my heaviest, about 57 kilos heavier than I am now. You can, I'm with you, Derek. It's like unreal, right? People wouldn't recognize me, but my health was certainly not optimized. I walked at home. I walked the other day. I walked our flights of stairs 63 times, which is the equivalent of the stairs of the Three Sisters, going up and down. Couldn't have done that 8 years ago. In life, in business, and in personal life, we have issues that come up and we need to address them. We have opportunities which come up and we want to take advantage of them. And being optimized is that ability to take advantage of those opportunities or respond most effectively when something pops up that's detrimental or just not what we want it to be. So that's the second concept, that optimization is that line between execution and readiness. And the third thing is the pitch deck, which is the topic of this quick talk. Pitch deck, perfect business optimization. What I want you to understand is that the pitch deck, from the way I've worked with it over the years, a pitch deck is a checklist and a compass. And when you use it from the perspective of optimizing your business, in contrast to using it to pitch for investment, it is a management checklist and a compass. So it's something that you can use to tick off what you're doing, and it's something to do to set your direction. So those three things: you are the VC. the optimization is that space or that line between execution readiness, and it's the pitch deck as a tool is a checklist and a compass. So just before we get into it really quickly, because we're talking about stuff which is around investment and finance, I must say, I hate to say this, but there's a quick disclaimer. No advice, legal, financial, or otherwise. You're, as I say to all clients, you're responsible for your actions. Take it on board, or don't take it on board, or burn it ceremoniously and toast marshmallows with it. It's up to you, and I say that with the greatest of gratitude. So I've just finished suggesting to you what a pitch deck is, but I love this image. It's actually from the pitch deck masterclass that I run. And I love this image because it's one of those things we've all seen in business. There are people who have great ideas and they work hard at those ideas, and there are other people who have good to great ideas and they get the money, they get the success. Yeah, the classic is the whole Betamax versus VHS. Betamax was a superior technology, VHS made the money, and there may be many reasons why that happened, but it's a simple fact of life. So what is a pitch deck apart from what we've talked about? Well, the purpose behind your pitch deck, typically in investing, something in a sense to investors as an initial introduction, it's going to give them an idea of what your business is like within a very short space of time. It's going to give them enough to say, hey, I want to go and learn more about this. In other words, it's that conversation opener. And as I say there, it's something, it's a little bit more than just selling the flavor of the beer or the sizzle, but it's not the full steak dinner. It's not the whole brewery, but it is a measurement tool. It is a checklist. It does cover all the important elements of your business, like with an investment. It's something where you can compare your as is, and I'll get into this in a second, because this is how I work with the premium clients. It's your as is situation versus your goals and objectives. And most people, when they come investing, looking for investment, they come with this blue sky BS pitch deck, which shows how wonderful their business startup is going to be in 5 years' time. We're going to be bringing in $100 million. In fact, I had a person say this to me about 2 years ago. Again, they're a startup, they're in the media space, and they were going to be making $180 million within 3 years, but they hadn't turned a dime yet, and they've been going at it for 9 months. Good luck to you. I don't see it, but people come with this blue sky stuff, and blue sky stuff is, once contained and based on some reality is a great goal and objective, but it's not something you want to be pitching to your investors with, nor is it something you want to be, nor is it something you want to be deluding yourself to about when you are trying to build a business. It's good to have goals and objectives and visions for where you want to go. It's another thing to totally delude yourself about where you are and what you can actually achieve without having fundamental basis on which you can build it. And it's also a good validation and verification tool. So validation is all about requirements, and verification is all about specifics. So in that sense, it keeps you true and honest as a tool. So again, just covering off what a pitch deck looks like. There are 21 slides in the deck we use, and these are the different areas. I won't go through and mention them all. It'll take me like another minute, and I want to keep this as short as possible so we can have a discussion about where people can optimize and things like that, and give the people, especially the people around the table, and also the people watching this later on, some additional value. But these are the different slides that we always put in the pitch deck. And I say we always put in the pitch deck because apart from being pitched, when we've acquired a business and we want to sell it off, then we'll create a sales deck, which is very, very similar to the pitch deck. So these are the same slides basically that we put in there. But these are the same slides that, as a checklist, serve you with the exception of the disclaimer and the cover page. These are the same slides that would serve you in having a tool to measure your business by. And anyone who's interested in having a conversation about that, we can do that offline. There's just not enough time to go through 21 different slides in detail right now. Alternatively, I'll be running my pitch deck masterclass again end of March, and anyone on this call, and of course in the I network, can join that for complimentary, free, no charge. So we'll make that available to everyone here if that's okay with Jason, right?
Yeah, mate. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, is that cool? Thanks, mate. So, and there's no hook or anything. There's just, hey, come along if you'd like to learn about the mindset behind the pitch deck, and then go and create your own pitch deck. Whether you're looking for investment or just using a tool, I'll be running that later on. So these are the things that we look at. And we've actually, you know, I've pitched many businesses that we've invested in, and we've grown and created and merged. And I've been pitched to more times than I'd like to remember. Probably more times than a Gen Y has changed their jobs. A lot more times than that, actually. So let me tell you a story about a company called Control Break International, and their product was SafeBoot. Okay. Now, I had the privilege of working with this company simply because I knew the founder. In fact, I knew the founder. I met him on a long weekend to Singapore. And I was going to Singapore. I decided I was going to go to Singapore for a long weekend, living in Netherlands at the time. And I decided I was going to go for a long weekend to Singapore, and I invited the mate along, and he asked if he could bring another mate. And that mate happened to be the founder of Control Break International, and the product of Control Break International later on became SafeBoot, because SafeBoot at the time was a product for which he was the sales and marketing distributing channel in the Benelux. And he was working with his team out of one of the rooms in his house. Okay, so he and I and my other mate Peter, we went to Singapore and we had a great time. And later on, he said, "Paul, can you come and have a chat to me about the business?" And I went through the same sorts of things that I went through in the first few slides of this presentation. In fact, I'm going to go out of here and just keep talking because you've seen enough of that. You can look up SafeBoot and $350 million exit yourself. It was back in 2007. I just stopped sharing that. But and the gentleman's name was also Paul, great bloke. And just FYI, the gentleman, this guy, he never graduated in year 10. So it's got nothing to do with academic prowess. It's got nothing to do with education. It's got in the institutional sense, it has to do with something else. And in any case, he said, hey, can you come and help me and have a chat to me about this business? So I went through the same basic things with him. By the way, I cannot take credit for his $350 million exit. I seriously can't. There are things I helped him with in the operational sense, and we had some initial conversations. But he got a great COO on board, Gerhard Watzinger, brilliant man, who helped him take the business, skyrocket the business, and they became the tail wagging the dog. So what does business optimization and pitch deck perfect business optimization have to do with that? Real simple. As I said, when I first met him, he was operating out of one of the rooms of his house, and then came an opportunity for him to, that has all its own issues with, but then came an opportunity for him to buy the product and the existing offices, the technology, the IP, and all the rest of it. And by mortgaging a whole bunch of stuff he had and other stuff he didn't have, he was able to come up with the money, which was around about 9 million guilds at the time, so 4 million euros at the time. And he was able to go and buy the whole thing. And then he said, well, he set up a vision using the pitch deck principle. He set up a vision saying, well, what I want to do is I want to exit in the next number of years. He didn't actually quite achieve that number of years. It went a couple of years over, but he wanted to go and expand rapidly, and he wanted to go and acquire a whole bunch of businesses as his expansion model, which was a model we'd use in private equity all the time. We would buy a company. We would then look for other companies that we could buy and merge into the asset we'd purchased to expand it that way, as opposed to trying to grow it organically. It was a much smarter way of doing things. Buy other assets, ones that were systemized, as Andy talked about with regard to technology. If you have your systems in place, you become, it's very easy not only to run your business, but also you become attractive to other businesses to be able to acquire you, because now suddenly you dovetail into them, as opposed to being something which is just a complete and utter headache for them to be able to bring into their way of being and their way of doing things. So that was a strategy we used in PE all the time. And Paul did the same thing. He said, listen, I want to go and be able to buy all these businesses. So what do we have to do? And we looked at all the systems, and systems were not only technology, systems are people. This is where I think Derek made a comment about this. Systems are not just technology. Systems are people. They are ways of doing things. They're how we do stuff. You know, a lot of people talk about why of business and their purpose and all the rest of it. And I'm not discounting that. The why of business is really important. It gets people to your front door. It gets them through your front door initially. But it doesn't necessarily keep them coming back unless they feel really cool about how they do business with you. Because, you know, let's be honest, the what you do is pretty ordinary. Everyone else could do it if they wanted to, and there are a lot of people who do it. So it's not so much the what, it's that how you do it, but that experience you give people that keeps coming back. So Paul wanted to go and grow this thing that way, and that's what we did. We looked at every process within the business, and we broke it down over time. And then he went and hired the right staff. He went and put the right systems in place. Right, obviously being a hindsight thing, because if it hadn't been right, it wouldn't have freaking worked. And he was able to go out and one after one acquire the bigger competitors around Scandinavia and Europe and some in America and some in the UK, and open other branch offices. He was able to do that despite being a much smaller operation. And whereas, and Andy will appreciate this, whereas normally it would have taken anywhere up to 3 months to integrate a disparate system into your own, the way we'd set up the system, so data, telephony, storage, user management, security, the whole thing, the way we'd set that up, and that was one small piece of the ecoverse that I was responsible for in the operational sense. The way we'd set it up is within 30 days, we were able to take any new business and migrate them in. And then it was just a question of tidying up the fringes and getting it all nice and tidy. So faster than we could get letterhead delivered in those days, we'd have the systems integrated and they were working, which was very, very cool. And that made the rapid expansion and the rapid acquisition all possible. So, and then there's one other business I could talk about. I'll just mention it briefly because it's another one it's a more local example. There's a company, still exists actually, a company called Easy Biz Finance, which was a startup in Australia, financial startup. And I knew the founder of that business from again when he was working out of his home. He went from being a home-based office to a $1 billion, that's with a B, billion-dollar loan book within 3 years, written up by the BRW, written up by the AFR. And I gratefully have a video testimonial on that one, which I dined out on for a long time. But again, the way he achieved that was by looking at his business. You know, this is a guy who'd been in boutique investment all his life, and he'd never actually, and accounting and that sort of stuff. And he'd never really considered using the pitch deck as a way to A, create a sober baseline of where he was or is, and B, as a goal and objective setting exercise for where he wanted to be in X number of times. You know, a lot of people set these vague goals and objectives, or some of them get a bit more specific. But if you look at, I'll just share that briefly again. If you look at the 21 areas, or the 21 pages, okay, minus the 19 pages, minus the color page and the disclaimer. If you could answer each and every one of those questions to the satisfaction of someone looking to put money into your business, money and resources and time into your business, then how well would your business be? I can't remember who said, I think it was Rashid who said about selling. So many people over the years have pitched myself directly, the group I'm a part of, and have asked for investment when what they need to do is they need to get their business in order and they simply need to sell more. So we keep getting pitched for marketing and personnel budget. I'm like, dude, you don't need more marketing budget. You don't need more personnel. What you need to do as a first step is you need to first go and sell more. And here are 19 ways that you can actually go and improve your business so that you will sell more. And you do that in the background whilst you're going, whilst you're going and selling. If you're not selling, you don't have a business. You know, one of my first mentor, Hans, when he first took me on, he's like, Paul, if you don't have 30 bloody minutes a week to focus on your business, because this was his model, it was the 30-minute coaching session with him every week. And I was like, 30 minutes a week, dude, I got to go and focus on my business. Like, if you don't have 30 bloody minutes a week to focus on your business specifically with me, then you might as well quit now. And that sort of stuck with me. And later on, when he got me into PEVC, and we would go and work, we'd invest in business and we work with businesses, exactly the same mentality we had. So I mentioned before about the Pitch Deck Masterclass. What that's all about is getting an understanding of the mindset of a private equity investor. These are people, like I said, I've worked for them over 30 years. Getting that understanding of how they see business, which I have zero doubt the majority of people, if not all the people on this around the virtual table right now, have a degree of understanding about. It may, however, be that given the quote unquote unique experience that I've had over 30 years, I might be able to add a little bit of context to that as well, and get you to think slightly differently about it, especially for all of those people here and watching later on who work with other clients, yeah, that you can actually add some value to them about how they think about their business. Because I'll guarantee you, I will absolutely guarantee you that there is more than 90% of your clients, as good as they are not thinking about their business in the same way as if they had to go and pitch an investor. And the way you go and pitch an investor is you get those 19 other areas of your business to a point where it is an absolute no-brainer for someone to say, yeah, here's the $1 million, here's the 2 million, here's the 5 million, here's the $500,000, whatever your number is, okay? So with that, what I'd love to do is to get a discussion going with everyone, especially with the quality of people we have around the table today, get a discussion going about the different, especially from your different areas of expertise, about how you help people optimize their business from in any of those areas, or from the context of how you work with them. Who'd like to chime in first? Or if there are any questions, obviously throw that as well.
I have a question.
Sure.
So what is your knowledge with angel investment and pre-revenue investment?
Yeah, loads. In terms of being pitched, tons. So I could look at any pitch deck that you want to throw at me, and I'll be able to tell you very candidly and very respectfully, obviously, where your deficits are. In terms of investing, I'd say over the years, we've probably done somewhere around 10-15% of the investments we've done have been angel pre-revenue. These days, less so, because the market is saturated, especially right now. It's saturated with such great businesses which are established, but just not ticking along as well as they could be. But historically, we've done some really great things. And also, just remember this: I've had 5 of my own businesses, which were extreme. Well, I've had many businesses, but I'll say the 5 which were hugely successful. By hugely successful, I had an exit which was 8 digits. So, and that was when 8 digits was a lot of money. So, they were all startups. Does that answer it?
Yeah, there seems to be a large culture of angel investors around over the last few years.
Yep, there is, and there are a lot of different models. And what I find really interesting is I keep getting people coming back to me and say, "Oh, but this company, they're just going to throw $500,000 at me if they love the idea." I'm like, okay, come back to me in 6 months when you've been through that process. And and invariably they come back and they say, "Oh yeah, but what they wanted to do is they wanted to pitch me this program first, and then if I went through that, then." Also, there are a lot. Don't get me wrong. The angel investment community is a very important community. It's a very important community because they put. I can't use explain. They put it on the line. I have a different way of saying it. I'll tell you that one offline, Julie. They put it on the line. They put it on the line, and go in when it doesn't look like there's much there apart from a great idea. It's an idea they believe in. That's it. There's obviously other stuff, other criteria, but they're an important part of the community. Here's the trade-off though, and this is where most entrepreneurs don't like it. The trade-off is they're going to want a big chunk of equity.
Yeah.
Right. And that's where I get these people saying, no. They're going to chuck $500,000 at me if they like the idea. And then I say, yeah, okay, come back to me in 6 months.
What do they want in return? They want half the company.
Yeah, and if they don't want half the company, it's because you've already paid them so much money up front to go through their course to get to the point where you can qualify. Then they only want 40% of the company, maybe. I don't know, but the numbers vary. But
We've got time for one more question. If anybody's got one. No.
Nope. Cool.
That's it. Fantastic. Look, I'll do a formal introduction for you two, because obviously, Julie, I reckon you've got a lot of questions. So I'll do a formal email introduction for you. So look, we're coming towards the end. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming today. Thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate you coming and doing that. I want everybody to try. I'm messing around things, so I'm about to end and stop the recording, but I'd like everybody to stay on. So thank you very much for coming. Just to give you a bit of a heads up, what have we got coming up next week? So we have the Be Connected Networking on Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, we have Jonathan Chifuni, and he will be, I've now lost my little page here, body language for sales mastery. So if you, whereas you work with Alan, and Alan will tell you, you can look at your face and tell you if you're lying. Jonathan looks at how you sit and he'll tell you if you were lying. So if you do anything with customers, this is a good one to look at as well. So thank you very much all for coming, and we'll see you all next week.